For this video, I'm going to head down to Hapeville, Georgia, so I can visit the Delta Flight Museum. Well, I was passing through Georgia again, and what I find remarkable about Georgia is how amazing the aviation museums are here. One of my favorite places in the world is the Warner Robins Air Force Museum. That has such an incredible collection and is so huge. As I was driving through Atlanta, I decided to check out this particular museum, the Delta Flight Museum, and this is quite an interesting collection too. You know, I've been to dozens of aviation museums over the years, and for the first time it occurred to me that almost every aviation museum around usually focuses on military aviation. This was such a unique experience because this is the first time I've ever been to an air museum that focuses exclusively on civilian travel. And it really is quite a departure from what I'm used to, and I really was impressed by this one. So the Delta Flight Museum opened in 2014, and it's a non-profit that was established. They started working on it in the 1990s, and the museum dated back to an idea from a bunch of Delta employees and retirees. They wanted to track down one of the original 5 Douglas DC-3s from when the company first started in the 1940s. And they were successful. They tracked down the very second airplane Delta purchased, and they apparently found it flying cargo in Puerto Rico and completely restored it, and that's one of their prized possessions in the historic hangar number 1. This whole museum is basically located at Delta Airlines corporate headquarters. Most of the collection is housed inside in historic hangar number 1 as well as historic hangar number 2. They've got quite a few amazing displays here. I've never really seen a Boeing 767 up close before, and you can walk around it in historic hangar number 2. And they've got a bunch of classic aircraft in historic hangar number 1, including that DC-3 that I talked about. They got a 1936 Stinson Reliant. They've got that Northwest Airlines Waco 125, which is that really nice prop plane hanging from the ceiling. There's just a lot of neat experiences here. Like, there's some additional planes displayed outside, so they've got outdoor area as well. And one of the interesting things that they did was for the Boeing 747 that's outside, there's actually a walkway where you can actually walk outside the plane and stand on the right wing of it. I've never done anything like that before, and it's just they've really decided to do, you know, outside the box thinking at this museum, and it's just such a different type of aviation museum that just the nice change of pace is what I really appreciate about it. Admission prices are pretty reasonable. It's about $15 for adults. There's a discount for seniors and children, and overall it's a very clean, modern museum. As I said earlier, it's not even a decade old, so you can see just how young the whole place is and just meticulously maintained. Another highlight here is it's one of the only museums, I think, in the United States that actually opens their commercial plane simulator to the public, and it's not cheap. It's like $450 to go out and do the simulator, but you know, that's kind of a bucket list type of experience. There really isn't anyone else that even offers something like that. So I mean, if you're really into flying and planes and stuff, you know, that's kind of probably like the ultimate experience that you can't get anywhere else. So I can understand why people did it. I did the tour where I got to look around it really quick, but I was going to lay out $450 for like a half hour. But that's just me. And maybe eventually, if I ever become a millionaire, I'll go back and do it. But so what's the bottom line for the Delta Flight Museum? This place is just really nice. And this museum is only about an hour and a half away from the incredible Aviation Museum located in Warner Robins, Georgia. So if you have a family member who's really into airplanes, or you're into airplanes yourself, because of the proximity, you could probably knock them out both in a single day. And if you're really into airplanes, then you're definitely going to enjoy it. And while you're here, don't forget to comment below. I really appreciate any kind of feedback you have for these videos and maybe suggestions for future ones.